Hello, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Africa, news you may not know. I am doing this live stream today. It is July the 7th, 2021. And I'm just going to give you a few headlines about some of the things that are happening in the continent of Africa. So, one of the big news stories that a lot of people will be interested in, particularly those who love streaming movies and television series, is the new announcement that Netflix made about having their mobile only version of their streaming service available in sub Saharan Africa. Now, Netflix has admitted to having a slower growth in markets like the United States, Canada, where people have been streaming on Netflix for a long time, and the market is almost saturated, and they have a competition from other streaming services like Hulu, and I think Disney Plus. There's different streaming services available in other countries, but in the continent of Africa, a lot of people have been streaming some of their favorite movies and TV series on Netflix. Now, the cost for Netflix can be out of reach for some people in certain countries because the income level is a little bit lower. And also, a lot of people don't have access to the internet at home. So, having a version of Netflix where you would be streaming on your laptop as well as on your mobile device maybe may not be useful to everyone. So, in launching this mobile only platform, the mobile only version gives them the opportunity to have Netflix streaming on their mobile devices only. So, with this new service, it's going to be $3.99 per month, and you can only stream on one device at a time, and it can be your phone or your tablet, so you cannot stream on your laptop or your desktop computer. So this is a convenient version for a lot of people, and I'm sure Netflix is going to see their subscriptions grow on the continent of Africa now that they're releasing this mobile only version. And it was actually released last year during the pandemic for India only, and I presume that it was a success, and that's why they're now rolling it out to sub Saharan African countries. So that is news that you may have a great interest in. Thank you so much for all of you who are joining this live stream today, where I am giving you news from the continent of Africa and the diaspora. I say the diaspora because I want to also mention that the president of Haiti was killed in his home. I didn't take the time to read all the details on the situation. Someone sent me a message on WhatsApp just before I came on. And so I just wanted to quickly say that the president of Haiti has been killed in his home. I do not have details as of yet. In Kenya, protesters have been clashing with the police over the curfews that they have because of the COVID-19 restrictions that have been on them. So their curfews in Kenya are from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And they say that those curfew and restrictions will be at least until July 27th. So it could go longer than that. But protesters are demanding that this changes and that lockdowns and restrictions are removed. Unfortunately, police have shot into the crowds and have gassed protesters. So we're hoping and praying that things get a little bit better in Kenya, in Nairobi, where those protests are happening. Some great news out of Angola. Angola is planning to build a surface rail transit system in their capital city of Luanda. Now, they want to do this by the year 2030. One of the biggest challenges that African countries have, especially the bigger cities that are growing and have a lot of people in cars, is transportation and access to roads, because there are a lot of countries on the continent that don't have a huge road network system, and the access to roads. The other issue is too many cars, not enough routes to take when you're driving within town. I see this in Ghana all the time, where everybody's going in the same route because there's not other roads, other interchanges that you can take, and that would alleviate traffic. So having a public rail system is a way to go forward, and I think that this is a great decision, and I'm hoping that Ghana does this as well, because it's definitely needed. It is needed. Um, so that is the brief news that I wanted to share with you today. I was hoping that I'd have some people joining the live stream and have some questions and comments. I only have a few people who are online right now. If you do have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comment section. Um, oh, the other news story that I came across was Zimbabwe has returned to lockdowns. Um, and the reports are that it's because of shortages in the vaccine. They're really trying to roll out vaccines across the continent of Africa. The news is always talking about Africa and believing that it's going to be a serious situation, even though over the course of the last year, the pandemic has been less severe on the continent of Africa overall, of all the 54 countries in total, than it has been in other places. South Africa is the country that has had the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic, while other countries have not been as severely impacted as South Africa. And that's not to say that it's not affecting the continent. I'm simply saying that it is not as heavily impacted as it was in other countries. Where it is making a significant impact is on the economy. The economy is really, really suffering in a lot of countries because, as you know, a lot of things happen with respect to shipments of products and coming from other countries in the early days of the pandemic, when you saw that people closed borders and things that were being transported between countries, products were not happening. It was not happening. And so people's businesses were affected. If you need to get supplies, the supply chains were, pretty much shut down in the first few months of the pandemic. And I know things have opened up quite a bit over the last few months, but the effects and the impact has already been felt and continues to be felt. With travel that's been declined significantly over the last year, that's also a challenge for many people. But reports are saying that in Zimbabwe specifically, where they are talking about restrictions and lockdown again, they're saying that infections have gone up, and they do have a night curfew there, and they've reduced business hours, and then they have lockdowns in some of their hotspots. So that is what they are doing. And so the concern is this Delta variant that they've been talking about that gravely impacted India, and that it's spreading in other countries. And there's about 14 African countries that have confirmed this Delta variant in their country, Ghana being one of them. That initially they said that there was only at the airport, and at the airport that people had come in. The Minister of Information had said that it was not in the general population, that it was only people who came at the airport and tested positive for it, and they've been in isolation. But this past week, it was reported that there is a high school in Accra, Ghana, that people have tested positive for this new Delta variant. So they're asking people to exercise more caution now that that is the case. Thank you so much for all of you who are here on this live stream of Let's Talk Africa, news you may not know, where I share news and information coming from the continent of Africa that may not necessarily be reported in mainstream media, but it is news that you may be interested in knowing. And so I thought I would share with you. Um, it is July 7th. I am sitting outside and sharing this information with you, hoping that all of you are having a fantastic day and that your beginning of the month of July, it's been the first week of July, has been going well. I am doing well, working on some projects, and had a really exciting time yesterday. I met with a woman who's working on an archaeological dig here in Accra. I won't get into too much detail because I'm going to be documenting it and creating a little mini documentary about this particular dig. And I think it is going to be really fascinating. I'm so excited about it. And I'm looking forward to when you get a chance to see it. I don't think I don't know if I would put it on YouTube or if I'm going to just do it as a documentary that I may try to submit in some film festivals or something. I'll figure it out once I start documenting the project and see how things go, because I do think that the story needs to be told. It's so important. and an integral part of Ghana's history. Because those of you who are really into history and understand archaeology, there's a lot that can be revealed about people during different times of our history, human history. So I'm really excited to see this dig that's going to be happening in Accra and what it's going to reveal about the history of the people in that particular area and how it connects to present day. It's going to be really, really exciting. So, thank you for those of you who've joined. Peter Osei says, let's pray for our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Thank you so much for your comment. And our Mu Wiku Journey says, Haiti needs continued prayer and maybe some intervention from the AU. Great, great comment there. Thank you. John Brown, beautiful Ivy. Thank you. Thank you. So the sun is setting. I am outside, so it may start to get dark because the sun is setting. And while I'm doing this report on Let's Talk Africa, news you may not know, as I said in the first episode, I would like to continue sharing news from the continent of Africa that may not be in mainstream media. So continent of Africa and from the diaspora news that will be shared. So also there is, this was from last month, that was about African startups that have been showcasing at VivaTech 2021. So VivaTech is a hub for technology in Paris. And so there are African countries that are showcasing some of their things. So there is representatives from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I believe someone from Morocco who are there presenting at this particular event at the VivaTech 2021 in Paris. So it's great to know that African innovators are, being invited to some of these things that are happening around the world. And let's hope that we have continued progress for our people who are innovating and doing different things. So thank you so much, everyone who has joined this live stream. I didn't intend for this to be long. I simply wanted to give you a few announcements about what's happening on the continent of Africa and in the African diaspora, because it's important that we do share news of what's happening on the continent and beyond that may not be told in mainstream media. So if anyone has news that they want to share or they want me to share in the future, you can always share with me. You can email me at info@ivyprosper.com if there's some news that you know about, or you can send it to me on, in your comments, in the comments here on the video, and then I can do my best to share it here on the channel, because sometimes there's news you may know that I don't know and I didn't find out about, and I can share with the people here as well. So once again, this is the latest news from Africa and the diaspora. And here is a big story. The Cannes Film Festival is happening right now. And a news story about Spike Lee. Spike Lee, those of you who are film buffs, follow him throughout his career, more than 30 years. He is one of the most influential Black filmmakers from the US. And he is at the Cannes Film Festival, and he is the first Black person to lead a jury at the 73rd Cannes Film Festival. 73rd. I'm saying Cannes. In French, it's Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival. 73rd Cannes Film Festival. And he's the first Black person on the jury. Like, seriously, he is paving the way once again, and wishing him the best as he is part of the jury on these films that are being screened at the film festival. So he's pretty much he's a big icon in the Black community when it comes to the film creative arts industry, and he's always been very supportive of up and coming talent and artist and sharing. And he's also been very vocal in a lot of things that have to do with Black culture as well as history, as well as, he says things that people may not be comfortable with. And his films often touch on real issues that people don't want to talk about. I shouldn't say people, that a lot of white people don't want to talk about, that sometimes it makes them uncomfortable. So I think it's fantastic that he is on this jury. Something just fell on my head. I'm doing this live stream and I feel like something just fell on my forehead. I hope it wasn't I hope it wasn't a bird. Something wet just fell on my forehead. Okay, so it just kind of threw me off there. All right, so I'm seeing some comments in here coming up. Um, Ado Solar, what is the vaccination situation in Ghana these days? In April, I met many who were vaccinated. Is that continuing? As far as I know, there was a second batch of vaccinations that came in. So March, April, there were, so I think February, March, April, I believe it was, the first doses of vaccinations were happening. And so then recently, the second dose of vaccinations were happening. I've heard that there's shortages of the second doses. Um, I haven't spent time to read how much is left, but I did hear that there were shortages um, as far as people getting the second dose of the vaccine, and that they're looking to procure more from Russia, I believe, is where they're looking to procure more vaccines. And I believe they're also looking into getting the Johnson and Johnson um, vaccine, from what I heard. So I'll have to get more solid information on that, because your question came up and I hadn't actually spent time looking into it. But I do know that they are trying to procure more vaccines. Jamaica in Zambia says, hi family, hello, thanks for joining the live stream today. Our mobile journey, do the festival, madame. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody who has joined this live stream today. Let's Talk Africa, news you may not know, where I've been going through headlines about things that are happening in the continent of Africa and in the African diaspora. So today is July the 7th, 2021. As I had been going through some of the headlines today that are happening in Africa and in the African diaspora. So thank you so much for watching today. This wasn't meant to be a long live stream because I just wanted to go through a few headlines. So if you have any comments or any other news that you want to share, please do share them with me in the comments, and I will do my best to respond. And maybe it's a news story that I can look into and do another episode to talk about, so that everyone else can know this news story that you are sharing about Africa and the African diaspora. So thanks so much for watching Let's Talk Africa, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.